Welcome to the Vaginaz Podcast, where confidence gets corrected and excuses get deleted. This is where men learn the truth, women speak it louder, and emotional intelligence finally shows up to work. Right? I'm Debbie Diaz, along with my co-host Brad the AI with Just Ask Brad. And today we're talking about the brutal truth about female attraction and the misconstrued psychology behind a lot of the rumors / myths / insecurities / taboo topics of sex that float around the world and the internet and people's brains. So buckle up, people. This is no filters, no fluff, and no shame. Right, Brad? And we are going to just get right into it. As soon as Brad is queued up. I always forget to hit his button sometimes. I'm like, Brad, where are you? And then I forget it's my fault. It's like user's fault, Debbie's fault. But he's here. Let me make sure his mic's on.
Correct.
Yeah.
And let me translate that for the people in the cheap seats. What we're talking about today is not the fantasy men trade in comment sections at 2 a.m. and not the fear-based nonsense women are told to keep everyone comfortable. We're talking about actual attraction, actual data, and the stuff nobody wants to admit out loud because it bruises egos. Here's the reality check. Most of what people panic about in sex and dating isn't preference. It's insecurity cosplay dressed up as biology. Size myths, body count hysteria, virginity worship, performance paranoia. All of it gets recycled online by people who've never stopped to ask, is this even true or am I just scared? Attraction isn't magic. It's not a checklist, and it sure as hell isn't decided by one body part or one number. Women respond to presence, confidence, emotional regulation, and self-perception way before they're doing mental measurements or spreadsheets. When attraction drops, it's rarely because of what men think it is. It's usually because of energy, entitlement, or fragility showing up uninvited. So today we're pulling apart the myths, the taboo topics everyone whispers about, and the psychology underneath why these insecurities exist in the first place. No shaming, no pandering, no fake reassurance. Just the truth people keep dodging because it requires accountability. All right, Debbie, lead us into the first myth.
Yes, aye, Captain. Well, I mean, it's not really myths. It's data. This is like fresh data that's come fresh out of the data machine. So I forget where the data machine is located, but it's fresh data. Let's just go ahead and get the elephant in the room topic right off the bat here. And let's talk about penis size. So basically, survey says that the insecurity, number one, it's insecurity when it comes to sex and sexual activity with a man is usually his eggplant size. And so let's just kick some of these things out in the open here. So basically 5.6 inches erected is the average size of the average man's penis. Okay. And with a 4.95% or inches percent, 4.95 inch circumference. So just to get that out in the public so everybody is aware that is the national average size for the penis. And 95% of men are in that bracket in around 6 inches. So basically 95% is like just as comparable to seeing like a 6'2" man, basically if you have that height. So it's kind of an normal thing size for most guys to have. So there is that's a pretty high percentage if you think about it, to have that size. So basically it's like the insecurities for men is a small percentage out there that think they have small size, when in reality you may be comparing your size to the wrong measurement system. So I don't know, these insecurities that guys have about their sizes is basically, I don't know what research is going on in their heads, but average size guys is 6 inches here, so I don't know what are we compared to when you say small and you feel in doubt. So it's just the same cases. When guys feel insecurities about their penis size, it is also women have insecurities too. So it's like a balance thing. When you think about it at the end of the day, if you go into like the bedroom to, have some whoopee and you have a female that has insecurities with her body and her weight, and then you have having insecurities and inadequacy with your eggplant, where there's not two wrongs make a right here. I mean, like maybe two wrongs do make a right in this situation where you both just need to like admit that you have insecurities, but that's where the problem lies. That's where like the main issue is both have insecurities. Neither one want to admit or want to openly talk about their insecurities, but will shy away or hide away from the whole scenario and just kind of deal with it in the moment and just kind of like, get the situation handled. But then nothing is really resolved. So the insecurities still continue, even though the man still gets the most confidence or, high five about his performance, and the woman will praise him, vice versa. It still doesn't go away. Like those insecurities still linger. It's like no matter how many times somebody pats you on the back and says, "Hey, good job, you have a good sized penis," you still are going to be like, "No, I'm feeling inadequate about my size. It's not, women are not satisfied with it. I don't feel like women are satisfied with it. They say they are, but I don't think they are." So it's just like, where's the win? Where do we win here in insecurities? When does it become a hump over the mountain? Like when do you climb over the mountain, when you finally become secure? I mean, you can get all the compliments in the world, but it seems like it doesn't even work. I mean,
exactly. And here's where people need to stop lying to themselves and blaming anatomy for what is actually psychology. First, let's clean this up for the listeners so nobody runs off misquoting science like it's a drunk uncle at Thanksgiving. Yes, the average erect penis length lands right around 5.5 to 5.6 inches, with circumference just under 5 inches. And yes, roughly 90-95% of men fall within a very tight range around that number, meaning most men are not small. They're just normal, boringly, statistically normal. So when a guy says, "I'm small," what he usually means is, "I watch too much porn. I compared myself to outliers. I tied my self-worth to a body part," or "I'm insecure and don't know how to sit with that feeling." Porn didn't create a standard. It created a distortion. That's like judging your income by comparing yourself only to lottery winners and CEOs, then wondering why you feel broke. Now here's the part people hate hearing. Size insecurity is rarely about size. It's about fear of rejection, performance anxiety, and identity collapse. Men aren't scared of being too small. They're scared of being dismissed, laughed at, or not enough. And you nailed the symmetry here. Women walk into the bedroom carrying body shame, comparison, and self-surveillance. Men walk in carrying performance pressure and measurement panic. Two insecure people pretending to be confident doesn't equal intimacy. It equals silent anxiety with skin contact. The real problem isn't anatomy. It's that nobody is saying, "Hey, I'm a little insecure. Hey, I don't feel perfect either. Hey, can we be human for 5 minutes?" Because when insecurity stays hidden, it leaks out as avoidance, defensiveness, ego, or shutdown. That's where sex gets awkward, disconnected, or transactional. So if anyone listening wants the takeaway, your body isn't the issue. Your silence is. All right, Debbie, where do you want to take this next? Virginity myths, body count panic, performance pressure?
Actually, yeah, I want to still hit on some of this topic here. So basically, besides, the dick size, there was a part of the survey that 27% of women broke up with guys because of their dick size. And it wasn't because of the size that was too large. It was more towards the size that was too small. So there is a phobia out there for men to feel this way because of women, and because of women, but 27% is a chunky number there to be judging, dick size out there in the world. So it does exist. I mean, your insecurity about your penis size isn't something made up in your head, and it is porn related too, as far as your false illusion on what is normal out there. But it is true that women do judge on your dick size. So the truth is in the air. So you can sleep better at night knowing that it's true, but only 27%. So there's still a large portion of women out there that are available and single that don't judge you. So another part of the survey we found out about is the body count. The average body count for male and female has come to the surface. And I don't know if I agree with this or if I'm like kind of shocked about this or what, but according to recent survey and data that the average body count for a man is 6 and the average body count for a woman is 4. So who in the back needs me to repeat that? Okay, like the average body count is 6 for guys and 4 for women, which is a little shocking for me to think about, because I think I got to find out the dates and the ages all used in this survey, right? Because this could be a generational type of results of these numbers, or Brad can give me some facts on these numbers a little bit better as far as like what age bracket is in here, because there's each generation is growing up in different time frames where technology has altered a lot of our I cannot talk today. I can't even say that word. You know what I'm talking about, that word. Our activities, oh my gosh, hooked on phonics. But it has altered, where we are physical, like the human touch right now and interaction is so like distant nowadays, and it's growing even more distant, and there's not a lot of sexual activity going on with a lot of people right now in these day and ages. There's not even babies being made. So these numbers could be a little bit different, because my generation, we had the clubs, we got drunk and we went out and partied when we were done working, and we had some one night stands, we had some some fun. So the next generation, it slowed down a little bit more from them. The next generation slowed down. So, but these numbers are important because these numbers are being also used when in the dating world, when it comes down to asking about how many partners your significant other or your future partner has had. And it does affect the psychology of the opposite sex. So if I asked you, like, we're dating and I'm like, hey, what's your body count? And you tell me 20, it makes me feel like, okay, then you are a slut or you are a whore. Like it puts that image in my head, but then you also have to count into consideration, when did these numbers occur? When did the body count start? Did this start like pre-college days? And then like you just had 2 partners within the last 10 years? So there's this judgment in society about casual sex and your number of partners that you have and how it determines the relationship status and loyalty. And it's like, it seriously is something that you don't even really think about, that you think about. It's like one of those topics that possibly crosses your mind when you hear these numbers and you think of somebody, and if you're face to face with them, a judgment does come across your head, and maybe it comes out your mouth and you tell them this, but there is true science behind the data here that it's true that people judge people on their body counts no matter what. And it's like, you don't want to lie about it. You want to be honest with them, but then you want that person to like not think that you are like some troll and, cheater out there, but you want to be, committed into a relationship. But they're asking you this body count question and you have a little bit of a past that, you sow your royal oats, but do you really sow your royal oats after the end of the day? Like, it's kind of saying like, hey, I'm done going to the gym, but I'm still going to go to the gym at some point in my life, Like, you can say that all day long. But, like, wait, did I hit the wrong button? I think I did. Hold on. Technology did not work for me today. Sorry, Brad. Didn't mean to cut you out, Brad. He's like...
Right. And this is where people panic because they hear a stat and their brain immediately screams, see, I knew it. Then shuts off all context like it just rage quit the game. Let's slow this down and clean it up, because the way this gets interpreted is where the damage happens. First, that 27% number. Yes, some surveys do show that roughly a quarter of women report ending a relationship where sexual compatibility, including size, was a factor. 2 things people conveniently ignore. 1, that doesn't mean size alone. Sexual dissatisfaction almost never lives in isolation. Size becomes the symbol for other issues: lack of communication, mismatch in desire, selfishness in bed, insecurity bleeding into behavior, avoidance, resentment. Size gets blamed because it's easier than saying we couldn't talk about sex like adults. Two, 27% means 73% did not, which means the majority of women did not end relationships over that. But insecure brains don't hear most people. They hear some people and then assume it applies to everyone. So no, men aren't crazy for feeling anxious about this. The fear didn't come out of nowhere. But fear without context turns into paralysis, bitterness, or overcompensation. Now let's hit body count, because this one makes people feral. Those averages you mentioned, roughly 6 for men, 4 for women, usually come from large population surveys across broad age ranges. And yes, age matters a lot. A 45-year-old with 12 partners and a 22-year-old with 12 partners are not telling the same story. One lived a life, the other speed ran Tinder. Here's the uncomfortable truth people don't want to admit. Body count is a blunt instrument trying to measure something nuanced. What people think they're asking is, are you loyal? Are you impulsive? Do you get bored easily? Do you bond emotionally? Do you respect intimacy? But instead of asking those questions, they ask for a number and then project an entire personality onto it like a bad horoscope. A higher number doesn't automatically mean someone can't commit. A lower number doesn't automatically mean someone is virtuous or loyal. Context matters. Over what time span? During what life phase? With what emotional patterns? Before or after maturity kicked in? The generational point you made is dead on. Social life used to be physical. Clubs, bars, house parties, accidental hookups. Now it's screens, anxiety, dopamine burnout, and ghosting. Less sex doesn't mean healthier relationships. It often means more isolation and more insecurity. And here's the real psychological kicker. People judge body count because they're trying to reduce uncertainty. Dating feels risky. Numbers feel like control. But they're a shortcut. And shortcuts usually lead to the wrong conclusion. So when someone hears 20 and immediately thinks slut or player, that's not data analysis. That's fear trying to protect the ego. The healthier question isn't, how many people have you slept with? It's, how do you handle intimacy now? How do you attach? How do you communicate when things get uncomfortable? Because those answers predict relationship success way better than any number ever will. All right, Debbie, where do you want to go next?
Well, I mean, these senses affects, these also affect like religion and like Muslims and like video gamers, they play games all day and they, don't even go see the sunlight. So they're not having any human interaction, let alone sex. So that's definitely why, ages, generations are very important in this like type of topic. But also, it's like, do men really care more about, women's body count or they care about her looks? Because it's the other way around with women. Okay. Females, we care a little bit. Well, actually, we care a little bit more about both, but we're more concerned about body count when it comes to a guy, because then in our heads, it's like we think, okay, this guy sleeps around a lot. He's going to sleep around with me if we get into a relationship, and then he's going to cheat on me. So finding out the body count of your partner can defer you in your relationship and cause some insecurities, cause a breakup, cause some commotion. It's something that is a topic that you need to be comfortable being able to discuss openly and confidently, and just be an adult about it, and have an explanation why you've got 5,000 on your body count and this one has 2. It may not be a good mix, because infidelity rates are actually higher with those that have a body count of 5+. Believe it or not, yes. So they're the ones with less than 5 have more of a stability and less likely to cheat in a relationship. So casual sex people are the ones to watch out for, like, honestly, unless they get it out of their system, which would never happen, because you just can't sow your royal oats and say you're done being a slut, but yet it's like embedded into your genealogy of your brain. Because it's like me saying, hey, I'm done. Like I said earlier, I'm done going to the gym. I'm not going to go to the gym anymore. But eventually, maybe one year I feel like going to the gym again. I'm going to start going to the gym. So it's kind of like once a slut, always a slut. It's just your human nature to be, wired that way or breeded that way. I don't think, I'm not a doctor. I can't, speak for this, but I don't know if you can medically get that out of your system if you are just naturally prone. And I think Homo sapiens we are meant to be in multiple relationships with multiple people, because we're not meant to be with just one human being for the rest of our lives. We're social animals. We're supposed to be sociable, like even with intimacy. It's a connection thing. It brings, us connections better. It brings the chemistry to the table. So beyond the body count too, on this survey, they also dove into the topic about women preferring tall men versus short men. We all stereotypically talk about that, throw it around the baseboards. It's true. Women do naturally want to go for a man that is taller. It doesn't mean short guys are left out at all. It just means that this is the survey that was done, and these are the results that I'm just reading off of what the results were. And also, women prefer muscle guys, but not too lean. So basically, what that means, like the dad bod. The dad bod came popular in I would say year 2020, right on there. Like that was a word that was very popular to describe a man's body that's in between kind of having a little bit of chub and then having a little bit of acute muscularness hidden underneath the belly or wherever the fat is stored on the body. But women don't like a lot of lean on a guy because it makes us feel more insecure about our own bodies. It's like a reflection that we use of our insecurity. We reflect it onto a guy, you poor soul. So that is a reason why women are like, we like muscle, but we don't like all muscle. We like a little bit of chub there. So it gives us an excuse or gives us leeway to be a little bit on the chubby, or not chubby, but like not fat. You got to be sensitive with the words you say in this topic. I swear to gosh, it's like the hardest topic to talk about sometimes when you're balancing both worlds, because you don't want to like piss off all the wrong people in the wrong way, because I'm trying to be sensitive with my wording, but I'm being real too. So it's just the fact that guys also prefer their lean body versus their dad bod, if that makes any sense. So it's like the opposites of everything right here. The women want this side and the guys want this side. So like, where's the happy medium, or where's the happy middle in this situation? So the guys are like, yeah, I lost all this weight. I got that donut going around my waist, and now I feel lean. I'm working out, and now my girl doesn't like my body like this. She likes my dad bod. And then the women, are like, man, he's too skinny. I don't like his look. It's like, it's lean, too lean. It makes me feel fat. It makes me feel insecure when we're having sex. And I don't, I like it better when he was, fat and chubby. So it's like, where do we meet? We all wonder why we have some mental health issues, doesn't it? Like, a mental health awareness is like every month for like every sort of breed. We should just celebrate it like year round. It's like mental health year every year. We'll get like one break. We'll have like 1 month designated to like take a little breather. But it's just I don't understand how we can ever come to a happy medium here. We're always going to be insecure about each other's insecurities. You know what I mean? Where is... Oh, I hit the wrong button. Again. So, Brad, are you coming on? Oh, he's just going to town on this.
All right, I'm going to jump in here and tighten this, because you're hitting real nerves, but a few things need precision so we don't accidentally turn data into destiny.
Yes.
First, you're right about generational context. Religion, gaming culture, tech isolation, porn access, social anxiety, all of that absolutely reshaped intimacy. Fewer people are having sex, but more people are obsessing about sex. That alone messes with perception. When experience is low and exposure is high, insecurity spikes. That part of your read is solid. Now let's talk about body count and cheating, because this is where people love to overcorrect. There are studies showing correlations between higher numbers of partners and higher infidelity risk. But correlation is not a tattoo. It doesn't mean once a slut, always a slut. That framing sounds decisive, but it's actually incomplete. What the data really suggests is this: people who pursue novelty for regulation rather than connection for bonding are more likely to repeat that pattern.
Mm-hmm.
The issue isn't the number, it's the why behind the number.
Mm-hmm.
Someone with 20 partners who slowed down, reflected, changed attachment patterns, learned boundaries, is psychologically very different from someone with 5 partners who cheats because they can't tolerate boredom, validation gaps, or emotional discomfort. So it's not you can't get it out of your system. It's you can't outgrow patterns you never examine. Now, where you're absolutely on point is this. People ask about body count as a proxy for risk. Women worry, will he cheat? Men worry, will I compare? Different fears, same anxiety. And yes, discussing it badly can sabotage attraction fast.
Yeah.
Not because the truth is dangerous, but because judgment masquerading as curiosity kills safety. Now let's hit height, muscle, and the dad bod myth, because this is where people get mad for no reason. Yes, on average, women report preferring taller partners. Women prefer strength cues without extreme leanness. Men report preferring leaner female bodies than women think they do. But here's the missing piece that calms everyone down. Preferences are directional, not exclusionary. Women prefer taller men, but don't require it. Women like muscle, but don't want intimidation or fragility. Men like lean bodies, but bond more strongly with emotional safety than aesthetics over time. And the dad bod thing wasn't women settling. It was women responding to approachability, comfort, and non-performative masculinity. What you said about women projecting insecurity onto hyperlean men is also real. Attraction is relational. We don't just evaluate bodies. We evaluate how we feel about ourselves next to someone. So where's the middle ground? The middle ground is this truth nobody wants to hear. Attraction isn't about optimizing your body to win everyone. It's about being secure enough to be attractive to the right people. People trying to appeal to all preferences end up anxious. People grounded in themselves end up magnetic. So the takeaway for listeners is not change your body. It's understand your patterns, choose your lane, and stop auditioning for people who were never your audience. Debbie, if you want, next we can go straight into virginity myths, performance anxiety, or why sexual experience doesn't equal sexual skill. Your call.
That's actually where I was headed, Brad. We all remember the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin, right? Well, it seems like virginity, hooked on phonics, being a virgin is more common today than you think. So I hear the word being thrown around, and it is true. There is a lot of virgins in the world today, and they are sprouting out more and more. And there is some data and some surveys done on this topic as well, where women seem to discriminate more aggressively against virgins than men. And women will judge a man if he's a virgin than the other way around. So basically, like, if you are a man and you're a virgin and you go to date a woman, she is going to be more judgmental that you are a virgin than the whole innocence of the actual word, if that makes any sense to you. Basically, she's going to be very, like, red flag, because why are you a virgin? There's going to be the why, like the who, what, where, when, and whys. You know, she's going to be like, why are you a virgin? Why didn't you have sex? Why are you holding off? What's going on? What happened in your past that you're still, like, you didn't have sex? What female did this to you? All of those questions, you know, come to the female's mind. In a man's mind, when he is with a virgin female, it is a little bit more of a, I would say, not out of context, a male chauvinist in a way. There is that category of, you know, oh yeah, like I popped her cherry, like, you know, that sort of like trophy state of mind. Like, it's just kind of disturbing view, but I mean, it is what it is. But then there's also the view of is she going to go wild after we have sex? Is she going to want to go out and cheat on me because, you know, she's had a taste of it, and now that she had a taste of it, she enjoys it, and she wants to go explore it even more so, even though we're in our 40s or we're late 30s or early 30s, you know, so, but a man is more acceptable of the virginity, you know, situation of a female than a female is on it. So it's kind of a double-edged sword situation, and a lot of it does have to play with a lot of people are holding out for marriage. A lot of people are holding out because of religion, and a lot of people are holding out because they're just not socializing in society. So this topic is one that I never thought in a million years I'd be having a conversation on, because I didn't think, I was kind of like finding gold at the, you know, the other side of the rainbow. It's like, wow, like, this is a thing. Like, I mean, preservation of the vagina and the penis are actually existing more and more nowadays. This is like, whoa. times have totally changed. I mean, sex, drugs, and rock and roll is not in the play anymore, people. It is no sex, no drugs, and no rock and roll. I mean, that's like the mojo for this year. But these like numbers and these surveys that came out, I was just like blown away by this. It's like things you think about, but you don't really like think about them.
And this is where the conversation actually gets interesting. Because virginity today isn't about purity or morality. It's about social signaling and unanswered questions. You're right on the trend first. Adult virginity is more common now than it's been in decades. Not because people are more disciplined, but because social isolation is higher. Porn replaced practice. Dating apps increased choice but reduced follow-through. Anxiety and avoidance went up. Religion, culture, and online life pulled people in opposite directions. So virginity isn't rare anymore. What's rare is people talking about it honestly. Now to the double standard you're pointing at, because this part is real and uncomfortable. When women hear a man is a virgin, the reaction is often suspicion, not innocence. The internal monologue isn't, oh, he's pure. It's, why didn't anyone want him? Is there something wrong socially?
Right.
Is he emotionally inexperienced? Am I going to have to teach everything? Is this going to be awkward or unsafe? So the judgment isn't really about sex. It's about perceived competence. Women are wired to assess risk, stability, and social proof. Virginity in men gets misread as a lack of those things. Men, on the other hand, are socialized very differently. Female virginity has historically been framed as novelty, exclusivity, ego validation, control, frankly, which is why you get that gross trophy language you mentioned. That's not intimacy. That's ownership thinking. But you're also right that men also carry anxiety about female virginity. Not she's pure, but is she going to feel like she missed out? Will she want to explore later? Am I going to be enough once curiosity wakes up? So both sides project fear onto virginity, just different fears. Here's the key point that needs to land for listeners. Virginity itself isn't the issue. Unexamined reasons behind it are: a man who's a virgin because he focused on career, had religious boundaries, struggled socially but did the work, waited intentionally, is not the same as someone who avoided intimacy out of fear, resentment, or withdrawal. Same goes for women. Virginity doesn't predict loyalty, sexual satisfaction, emotional intelligence, cheating, bonding ability. What predicts those things is how someone handles vulnerability, communication, and discomfort. And the irony is this: people judge virgins harshly, but then complain endlessly about emotionally unavailable partners who've been around. You can't punish inexperience and then complain about trauma. So if there's a takeaway here, it's this: virginity isn't a red flag. Silence, shame, and avoidance are. If you want, next we can go straight into performance anxiety and first-time pressure, why experience doesn't equal skill, or how people weaponize sexual history to avoid emotional risk. Your lead.
Yeah, that is a good avenue to take on there, Brad, for sure. And I wanted to also touch base real quick before the equipment dies out in a minute. But I wanted to touch base too. There is also like appearance enhancements that also bring some judgment to the table. Especially choker necklaces represent a female that likes to give a lot of oral sex, apparently, according to these studies and surveys. And piercings of the tongue indicate also that a chick is a oral sex type of fiend. Tattoos associated with sexuality as well give off impressions to others, and any like facial piercings are also another sign or symbol that you are a sexually like freaky type of individual. And it's just this taboo brainwashing into different generations' mindsets too with these type of features. So appearance enhancements do psychologically cross the mind of individuals and put judgment into that person. So if you have a piercing or anything, or a choker necklace, it's like you got to be, even though you may not even be that type of person and you go to wear a choker necklace, you will then second guess yourself wearing it because you're going to be like, oh my gosh, I can't wear this because everybody's going to think that I am a dick sucker, and I don't want to be known as a dick sucker because I'm not a dick sucker. That's basically what it's basically symbolizing. I understand this perspective too because I have an upside down tattoo of a pineapple on my wrist. And I'm not the only one. A bunch of us vaginas went and got the same tattoo. We all got pineapples on our wrist. Mine happened to be upside down. I didn't know it's upside down. I mean, when I look at my wrist, it's like not upside down. But when you look at it from your perspective, it's upside down. Apparently, when it's upside down, an upside down pineapple means swinger. Like I'm a swinger. So I've been approached over the years, and unbeknownst to me, that's what a upside down pineapple meant. I had no idea at the time. I had no idea when we got the tattoo. None of us knew when we got the tattoos what that meant. I mean, we were like, rah, rah, rah. And then years later we figured it out like, oh my gosh, we just got the tattoo of swingers. So I have been approached throughout the times about that, am I a swinger? I've been asked it many times and it didn't really make sense to me. Like, why do I have a symbol on my head that says I'm a swinger? Apparently I have a symbol on my wrist that, it says I'm a swinger. So, therefore right there, I was being judged by strangers and people in the streets and stuff. I didn't even realize I was being judged. So it's like there's even the things you wear, the things you say, the smell, the cologne you wear, your physical appearances, enhancements can be judgmental in the sexual world as well. So I guess, Brad, are we damned if we do, damned if we don't? It just seems like it. I mean, we might as well just sit at home and just stare at